Dun, dun, dun. That was loud. All right.
It's off the lead too.
Yeah, it is. Oh, well, hopefully we're going. I'm pretty sure we are. I'm just going to pull up one more thing. All right, so we are live. I'm here with Adam Musakian, HomeFit trainer, team lead up in the Nashville area as we're growing that. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How about yourself, sir?
Doing well, doing well. It's Friday. I know we were just talking about how we really would like to shut down for the day, but we
Yep.
just
Go Friday.
right. We just can't resist dropping some knowledge bombs on some people here.
Always.
Late afternoon. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us for the WellTalk. If you're not watching it live, hopefully you're watching it this evening and saving it and taking it everywhere with you because your mind's about to be blown by this genius of a guy here. Anyway, so Adam, feel free to kind of jump in a little bit wherever you want to go, but like jump in and tell us kind of more about your background, whichever route you want to go, and then how you got into fitness, and then like your certifications and those types of things.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, hi, Facebook. My name's Adam. I am a certified exercise physiologist, Middle Tennessee State University graduate in exercise science. Been pretty active most of my life. Started off middle school playing football, hanging out with friends, being active. Did football, track, cross country, wrestling, backyard basketball, all that throughout high school. Did intramural flag football, played racquetball for fun. So I've had a pretty active lifestyle my entire life. I flip-flopped in college between athletic training and exercise science just because, do what you love. You never have to work a day in your life, and I love that.
Yep.
So been exercising most of my life. My dad was a big influence on me as well. He exercised most of my life as well. And then I just like helping people out. So it got me into here.
Well, there you go. I didn't realize you played that many sports.
I was all over the place.
No, that's awesome. Maybe we need to play racquetball sometime, and I'll probably pull something out. It's been a while since I've done it.
Next time you're up in Nashville, we'll do it.
All right, sounds good. All right, I can still hear that. Get into the Sorry, I got some distractions going on. I'm just kidding. All right, so good deal. So one of the things, actually, the primary thing we wanted to kind of cover today, I just got some podcast stuff, so I'll try not to be ultra nerdy. I have a problem with doing that, but I love exercise science and I love the human body. So when I asked Adam, I asked you what you want to kind of talk about, and probably the biggest proponent for you that you like to cover with people and how you train really is like functional fitness.
Absolutely.
So the full usage of your body, the full capacity that your body is able to perform, but also recover and all those avenues. So I guess let's jump into that and let's say how would you kind of describe in your words like functional fitness?
Functional fitness for me is any sort of exercise that can burn calories, really important, build muscle, increase confidence, because a lot of people tend to not have a lot of confidence if they've got some struggles in life.
Yeah.
And then just increase your overall daily living.
That's awesome. I mean, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier too how a lot of us with HomeFit, how we train, it usually is quality of life type of changes that our clients are looking for. Usually they're in it for the long haul, so we're really trying to do that functional approach. But like you said, I love the fact that you said it in kind of the different layers of it, not just the general movements, but how it impacts your confidence, how it impacts your day, how you're going to perform better, how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
So when we were kind of brainstorming on this the other day, you mentioned a little bit about how when you get started with somebody new, you start to kind of evaluate them from a functional standpoint. Like you were talking about, and I'll let you talk, I'm sorry. But like you actually like even watch people's gaits. And it's funny because my wife and I, we're the same way. We'll be at dinner and somebody walks by and we'll actually start kind of analyzing muscles that are too tight or their stride length and those type things. Anyway, so how do you normally start with that like assessment piece and what are you looking for?
Well, when I know I'm meeting somebody new, I kind of make sure I'm away from them a little bit, but that way they know, that way I can see them walking in the door. That way I can see them walk normally without them trying to fix anything that's wrong. So I can see their natural gait and how they step, how their foot hits, how their hips walk and how their arms sway. A lot of people don't realize this, but that can tell a lot. First of all, in confidence, and is also in if anything's tight or weak. And then as I get to talking to them, I like to know what they do for a living, if they're sitting at a desk all day, if they're standing up all day, if they're up and down, if they're doing the same movements over and over again. Sometimes you get an assembly line worker that's doing the same things over and over.
Yep.
Got to watch for the overuse stuff. And then just their overall posture on whether or not they're standing or sitting.
Right. That's also, I mean, I don't know. I didn't even think about the fact of somebody walking in to greet you, because like you said, you're already engaging kind of before you even start analyzing the physical component of it. That's super neat. And then from an ergonomic standpoint, which is what you were describing as far as what their job requirements are, is really huge for us. I don't know how many trainers really do that. I know most of us, again, I'm kind of pushing HomeFit, but I mean, we're super nerds in that respect. But I mean, we have the gentleman I met with this morning. I mean, he's an oral surgeon, and he actually he works with surgery from one side. So like some people, it's kind of like sitting at a desk. It's going to be a little more uniform. Well, he's turned at a different capacity. So then there's a lot of
Yeah, so
overuse.
something completely different.
Right.
And then one side's definitely going to be stronger and tighter than the other side.
Right. So anyway, so kind of going, that's just kind of neat to kind of those types of depths. So as far
Yeah.
as like movement assessments, like do you do like an overhead squat type of movement or what?
I tend to do overhead squat type movement with a PVC pipe, something that's light and easy for them to just hold up over their head.
Sure.
And I also do a one-legged balance test because balance is important in everyday life, whether people realize it or not.
Right. I think it also gives a key indication of kind of like your core strength. Because if your core strength is not developed, your balance is really going to be off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. So then we were also talking about the other day. Um, let's see. As far as like when your approach to training somebody from an overall functional standpoint, I don't know. I kind of threw some different things. So like, what kind of equipment do you prefer? I know you
Yeah.
kind of threw ideas, but you said body weight too. But just I guess
Yeah. So the cool thing with functional fitness is you can really use any and everything that you can get your hands on. Like I said, I use a PVC pipe for assessment. You can use medicine balls to toss around. I've actually used cans and gallons of milk in demonstrating at-home exercises that you can use. So there's really no excuse for not being able to do functional fitness. And then like you said, body weight is another big one.
so. Let's say if you do have access to like a gym that has different components, what are some of your favorite tools that let's say is not practical at home, but yeah, just what are some of your favorite tools to use if
Um,
you
uh, if I'm at a gym, I like to take advantage of just a bench and some dumbbells,
okay.
and you can do a lot with the free weights that you can that really go along with the body more than being controlled by a machine.
Right. That's true. There's a lot of balance, a lot of stabilization that's going on. You're going to work the body even more. What about unilateral training? Do you do that type stuff as far as like one-sided loading?
Yeah, I sometimes do that every now and then, especially if they're experiencing pain on one side, or if one of my assessments shows that there's tightness or weakness on, say, the right side compared to the left side. And then you also learn sometimes that the dominant side's stronger than the non-dominant, so you really have to focus on evening them out and making sure one's not going to overshadow the other.
Right. Right. Okay, so let's say it's somebody because there's still people that are wanting to make some changes, and of course we're all about trying to make people realize that it can be done. You can start this journey towards functional fitness and taking care of your body. Like for me, when somebody asks me if they come up and be like, okay, what do I need to do first? Like, how many do I need to do planks every day, or if I could do one exercise every day, what should it be? Which is
Yeah,
the silliest question to me. And my first response is like, move. Just start doing
exactly.
something.
Yeah, get up and walk.
Yeah. So why do you say that as far as like starting there? Because obviously we think in kind of progressive, ripple effects in it. But like, why would you tell somebody just to start walking?
Well, because, well, for one thing, science shows that, just walking and moving around at least 10 minutes at a time, 30 minutes a day, is what the human body needs in order to function properly. So walking is a great start. It's not that hard for most people. If there's something wrong, like they bad hip, bad knee, then that can be an exception. But for the majority of our country, walking around the neighborhood on a treadmill is easy to do. You can do it anywhere. like I said, you only need 30 minutes a day, if that, just to get it moving.
Right. That's a good point. And yeah, I think that once it's probably one of the easiest things I think for many people to do to start developing a habit, you know, and without overusing your body or kind of setting yourself back. And it kind of leads into new, I guess better avenues and better things as well. I was trying to think. I feel like there's one thing too. When we're talking
And
about walking,
also,
I was just going to think about how a lot of people don't realize. Oh, good.
I was gonna say, also walking is a good indicator for progression too, because say you only can walk 10 minutes at a time, then a week or two later you're walking 20 minutes and 30 minutes, and you end up walking faster and farther. That's another
Right.
big confidence booster, and then you can track your progress by that too. And then eventually you could, pick up into a jog or a run, or you just
Sure.
use walking as a warm up. So,
Yeah, that's really what I was trying to get you to segue into as far as that progressing at that because we don't just say things. I think too, it's kind of unfortunate that sometimes people will go to the doctor or whatever, or they won't start their fitness journey until it's almost like not too late, but until something's kind of occurring or they need to make a change versus wanting to make a
yeah.
change. And a lot of times the doctor just goes say, "We'll walk" or whatever, and they don't give you much guidance.
And they
How
also
fast?
they're very generic too. They're just, well, just go exercise. You need to exercise more and eat less. Like that's a very broad answer.
It is. Well, and that's a whole other area that I think I could get into, based off of the person and that type of stuff. But when it comes to, one thing I like to say too, because when people start walking, we want you to work up to a brisk walk. I think that a lot of times people just start strolling, and they're just kind of out enjoying the day, and that's fine. It's good kind of for reflection. It's good to get out and move your joints. Um, I usually recommend people to work towards a brisk walk.
Yeah.
So you actually, well, I don't know. How do you actually kind of gauge that, or tell people how to gauge that as far as like breathing or talk test or
Um,
anything like that?
well, I like the talk test, especially when I'm with them or I know they're with somebody. Um, if they're walking just to walk, they should be able to walk fast enough to where they're not out of breath, but they can still hold a conversation, but still breathing pretty heavily.
Right. Awesome. Okay. What other points you got on your end? I can segue in a few other ones, but I don't want to
Yeah, I
dominate.
was just gonna, talk about posture and gait and the stuff that I kind of look for to
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
to know what
Got,
people are doing.
okay.
So, like I said, when people first walk in the door, I start analyzing their gait. I look for arm swing. Ideally, you want both arms to swing about the same. Sometimes you'll have one arm swinging a little bit more than the other. That can show you past injury. That can show you tightness in the shoulder or even in the back. Um, I watch for heel strikes whenever your heel hits the ground, whenever they're walking.
Hmm.
Are they walking on their toes? Are they doing a full follow through where you go from heel to toe and then push off?
Yeah.
Um, are their feet caving in at all? Are their feet pointed out? Are their toes pointed out? Are they knock kneed? Anything like that that can give me an indication of weak muscles or tight muscles.
Right. Yeah.
And then when I'm sitting, when I finally shake their hand and talk to them, I'm kind of listening. I'm listening to them, but also looking at how they're standing too. Are they leaning on one leg? Are they kind of shuffled to the side? Are they favoring one side or the other? Are they holding anything? Anything that might show again injury or something's not right.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
Go ahead. Keep
go
going.
ahead. I was gonna say, and I also like them to sit down too, so I can see how they sit.
Yeah.
Do they slouch? Do they sit up straight? Do they cross their legs? Do they sit on one side or the other side? Um, just to get a basic feel of how they are normal without them knowing that I'm watching them.
Yeah. I think yeah. So now next time if any of you actually meet Adam in person, make sure you stand up straight. You have you're swinging both arms. You don't offset. Go ahead and correct your that time. But I love the fact that you're bringing this stuff up because I don't actually get an opportunity to talk to I don't think many fitness professionals to this capacity because I do think the same way. It's like if a young mom comes in, I mean, if they're used to holding, their child on one side, that's predominantly one side, especially if they're right-handed to be able to do things and while still
Yeah.
holding. You're probably with your kids, you'll probably get that way too, but you kind of get off kilter because you're used to, you know,
Yeah.
balancing.
And I do have a side that's favored when I'm holding one of them.
Yeah.
But I do like to hold both of them too every now and then just to even it out.
Balance it out. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Hey, come over here. I'm getting lopsided.
Like here,
Um,
I've got one. Maddie, come here.
I love it. Um, And then too, talking about knees, I think about that. Like if they're going inward, if they're not knee, if they're bow, if they're, I should say they're bow legged, but I'm saying based on the structure of the body, it can tell us, what muscles, like if their glutes are weak or if their quads might not be firing right, if they're walking, even the wear on the bottom of the shoe, how
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, because you can see if someone has wear on the inside or outside, you can tell if they pronate or supinate,
right.
and from that you can tell if they have any hip problems or knee problems too.
And that gives us ways to be able to start correcting those things
Hmm.
as we're leading into that functionality because it is, your whole body is a kinetic chain, so you have to start kind of fixing those and correcting those as you progress into, bigger and better movements and other things like that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what else in that capacity of functionality?
Also, like, keeping a close eye on exercise movement too. Even if they're
Mhm.
doing just a simple squat or an overhead squat, um, watching where their knees go, where their feet go, and how their hips move too. A lot of people forget about the hips, especially when doing a squat. Um,
Yeah,
I see more than I like to admit, but I see a lot of pelvic tilt either to one side or the other side. And you usually see it in, like you said, young mothers that have that baby on one hip. So they have
right,
one hip that's going to be stronger than the other, especially in those the glute medius and glute maximus muscles.
right. Well, a couple of years ago, I mean, the fact that it happens to all of us, even when we do train, it kind of makes you start. And that's what I was gonna say. I encourage people to really start analyzing your body. After listening to this, and how you sit on the couch, and how you lay, how you drive. Because like a couple of years ago, I think I was demonstrating a squat for somebody, I believe, or maybe I was just doing a barbell squat myself, and had the mirror in front of me, and I didn't realize I was actually favoring one side. As soon as
Yeah.
I went to drive and stand up, my body was shifting like to one side. So I didn't realize I was already developing imbalances and stuff.
See, also, I caught myself looking in the mirror just a couple weeks ago, and I realized that I had a knot in my shoulder because my shoulders were
Yeah.
uneven. So even at that can
It's
cause a difference.
right. I mean, I don't know. Again, I love this type of stuff because, I mean, it's more than just trying to lose weight and trying to tone your muscle. I mean, it really is about how you feel and how you can get around with less pain and more fluid, be more productive.
And all about the the non-skill victories, being able to run around and chase your kids around the yard for more than 10 minutes without getting tired, being
I
able to hold your kid.
Yeah. No, I love that you're hitting on so many of the like the behavioral and the emotional stuff. No, it's good because I love it because
Yeah.
so I've had clients of mine that people that I've worked with, and that's the biggest thing. It's like if they're getting older, that's usually the big comment. Like I want to, or if they've had a child a little bit later in life, that's kind of their
Yeah.
biggest trick. I
Well,
want to
see,
be.
I've actually had somebody come in and yeah, she wanted to lose weight and tone up, but her words were, I want my life back. I want to be able to walk around in public without being rushed or feel like I'm holding everybody up.
Right.
I want to be able to change the light bulbs in my house. So lots of different things that people don't really think about until you can't do it.
I had a lady probably 12 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, right when I first started training. I asked her, I said, what kind, she was, I mean, she's probably in her late 60s. And I said, what do you want to get out of this? And I just like to know people's responses. She said, I want to be able to open the pickle jar. I mean, just the fact that it was, I mean, she was laughing
Yeah,
when she said it, but I mean, that tells a lot about what really is somebody looking for. I had another man that I worked
yeah,
with one time, and he was getting older, and um, let's see, I think that was before he went on diabetes, so he was struggling with different things, energy levels and whatnot. And it's funny because sometimes people will come in and tell you those things. Sometimes an event will happen, and then they'll come back and tell you the success that it was, like you said, because they don't realize how much they've improved. Like this man
yeah.
did, he never gets up and walks with his wife down the beach. And they went on vacation, and he said, I went up and we walked probably for 30 minutes. He said, that clearly showed me that I'm making the kind of progress that I want to make because I'm able to spend more time with her. I'm able to do
Yeah.
this. So those kind of
And,
things.
Yeah, and that's gonna, increase the overall quality of life. You're gonna be happier. You're gonna be healthier. Stress levels are gonna go down,
Yeah.
and you can just really enjoy that family time a lot more too when you can be more active with them.
Right. So, okay, on a more personal note, since we're already kind of personal, nothing too personal, but like for yourself, because you said you were kind of between athletic training and then like I
Yeah,
guess, fitness.
the exercise science of it.
Yeah, because I love the nerdy side of it, and that's one of the reasons that got me into it. But like, I guess what was kind of a motivator for you to get into fitness, aside from being active generally, but like regular fitness?
Well, like I said, I wanted to find something, for one, has a big calling for, because I don't want to, get a degree and not have a job. So I wanted to be able to
Right.
find something that I could have a job in, and also wanted to find something that I enjoyed. So I spent a few years really thinking about what I like to do. Probably I was sitting at a gym, and I actually remember delivering pizzas one day, and I heard a commercial on the radio, and it was for personal training certification before I graduated college, and it said, do you enjoy working out? Do you not like being at your job? Well, why not combine the two and love your job even more by becoming a personal trainer?
Right.
Um, and then I also really enjoyed helping out my own mom, who was wanting to lose a little bit of weight. So we actually just started walking around together,
Yeah.
and it helped her get into a healthier lifestyle as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up. I was overweight, and that was obviously one thing that really led me into it. But it wasn't necessarily a path that I just wanted to go. But then when other family members started kind of getting older, and there were, because like when I first started training, a lot of my clients were older adults, 60, 70, 80 years old, and so you talk about quality of life on
The back end
that
of it.
spectrum. Um, it's amazing, like within a matter of weeks, that how it can improve. The energy can come back, and belief in what they can do as far as like self-efficacy. And anyway, but my grandfather was getting much older. He had developed cancer and just all this stuff. And it's not, sometimes family is harder to work with because you don't want to overstep your bounds, especially if you're like
Well,
the younger generation. But
that they don't always, take you seriously, or act like you know what you're doing. So
and we do want to help. We wouldn't bring it up if we didn't want to help. But
yeah, exactly.
those were several influences for me. And then two, I've always been one who loves to listen and I guess kind of counsel people or whatever. And this totally opens it up. I mean, it's so funny. It's amazing what people will tell their trainers that's really going on in their lives. I feel
Oh
like,
yeah, I tell a lot of people that personal training, yeah, you get to exercise them, but you're also a part-time psychiatrist, or you're just listening to them talk.
yeah. And then too, like for HomeFit, and this is funny. What I love about when trainers join, or start doing in-home training, they realize that they're able to have an even stronger impact because they're able to see what's really going on, or like able to see their environment, what type of influences are going on, whether it's family is supporting or hindering kind of the goals that they're doing, the stressors that are at home. It's just anyway, so it's just kind of neat because you're able to kind of really see their world on a much deeper level.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you can also see, if they're able to accomplish, the little things, you can kind of see where they were in their home when that happened too.
Right. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I've had all different types. So I've had some that their influence is to be better for their family, and I just love hearing that. I mean, because sometimes
Yeah,
we don't. Well, sometimes we're the last people to take care. We'll take care of everybody else, but we don't want to take care of ourselves. But what we usually tell people is, if you don't take care of yourself,
you
how
can't take
effective
care of them.
you can't take care of them. And so
Hmm.
that's a big influencer, I think, for so many people. Um, oops, sorry. What else as far as because functionality can go on different levels? But what else are you
Yeah.
thinking?
I also really enjoy, balance type things, because, like you said, first started working with older population, and one of their biggest fears, I work with some too, is falling. And if they fall and break a hip, then they're down for the count for a nice long while.
Right.
So I like to work on their balance, see where their balance is, and kind of show them how their balance is coming along and progressing, and give them a little bit more confidence, so
Right.
that they don't have to worry about falling, especially if they're out somewhere by themselves.
Right. Have you had any clients who like deal with like neuropathy or like in their feet where they can't really feel um, the nerves kind of in their feet or have much control? Just curious. I have a
Um,
couple. So,
I haven't, but I've witnessed. We had one client where she had drop foot, to where she really couldn't pick her foot up,
uh
and I would just kind of watch, the other trainer work with her, and saw what all they did, and it was a lot of balance, loading, building confidence up, and then because it's really hard for us to fix a neuro problem,
Sure. Yeah.
but it's cool that you can fix all the muscles around it and try to help the best that we can to compensate with it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to throw you a curveball there. It just made me think about it when it comes to approach. Um, okay, so then you becoming certified as an exercise physiologist. How would you feel like what's a little bit more of the depth on that, like training and certification versus, I don't want to say just personal training. That's very foundational, but how would you kind of explain the difference?
It goes into a lot more detail about just really everything involving personal training. Like you learn exactly what happens as soon as a cookie enters your mouth and how it goes through. The stomach processes, how it breaks down. Excuse me, sorry.
Hmm.
What energy levels are
Okay.
being used, where the carbs come in, where the fats come in, where the proteins come in, where they all go. You also learn a lot about building up and breaking down muscle, building up, breaking down bone recovery processes,
Yeah.
time expectancies for when you should start seeing muscle growth, why you get stronger at first without growing muscle, um, what happens while you're working out, what happens after you work out. Just
Yeah.
very detailed stuff, and I really enjoyed a lot of that.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, because that's to me the funnest thing about, or one of the other layers of training people is not just the physical results, but also the psychological that we've been talking about, but then
Yeah.
also educating people. I think a lot of people they'll take a class or they'll try different things out or they'll go to some trainers. The trainer will just tell you what to do. Or I've heard some people
Mhm.
call them, well, it's just a paid rep counter. I'm not
Well,
that because I can't count past two. Half the time my clients have to tell me what rep we're on because I'm watching form but anyway. But like I love teaching people, and that's really the way I feel like that's probably your approach is educating what's going on in their body because they'll do a
also,
better job.
I really love, when someone says that they don't need me anymore because they've learned a whole bunch to do on their own,
Yeah.
and they've enjoyed learning as well as much as I've had teaching. So I really that makes me feel accomplished.
No question. I've actually had several forms I've filled out over the years, and they ask what's your philosophy of training. And mine really, and this sounds kind of productive as far as like having a business or whatever, but I said my goal has always been a good trainer should work hard to put themselves out of business, meaning that you can educate and you can equip and you can motivate somebody to the point where they can do it on their own and they can sustain and they can change their life, for the better
and,
without us.
and they feel confident doing it.
Right. Thankfully, what ends up happening with us is those people they end up referring to two or three more people to us, and
Or
then we
or they or they just fall in love with you and never want to leave. I've got a
right.
couple like
That's
that too.
usually what happens. That's the
And
deal.
I'm hoping they're watching too, because I'm gonna look back and see who's watching. So
Yeah, good deal. Let's see. I got a dog that just walked in the door. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anything else? Any other areas that you want to cover? I mean, we've covered a good meat of what we were talking about.
yeah, I feel like the as far as the punctuality and working to better your life is the big point we wanted to get across today.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it
No
very much.
problem.
Um, Anybody interested in potentially working with Adam, whether it's be up in the Nashville, Murfreesboro area or online or whatever. This guy's ready to go. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, if you have any questions, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you go to this on Facebook and put them there. We'll go back and look at everything, see how we might can follow up and answer those questions, and we just do one of the best that we can to serve you. But anyway, I guess other than that, everybody have a good Friday. Adam, thank you so much. We'll get you back on here.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, Cody.
Yeah, man. All right.
See you guys.
See you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Bye.